Hello, everybody, and happy Tuesday to all of you, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. We have an update here from Kay. So our big note from yesterday on this one was kind of timing up the flickers on things and putting that in. Oh, and you got the red mouth in there too. That's great.
Yeah.
I think overall I think this works a lot better in terms of the timing. And everything. The one thing, there's two things that are kind of going on now that I think we need to tweak a little bit. Oh, go ahead. Let's see. And the first one is we need to create a little more variation on this building over here. Now that the lights are on kind of consistently, like it's just that like from here to that was a terrible line. From here to here, it's just a consistent value, and it makes it feel like a miniature set. It makes it feel a little bit smaller. So just getting a little pocket of darkness in the middle, either with a light blocker or adjusting the lights a little bit. And then the other thing that I was seeing while this was playing out was some sharper shadows that were kind of appearing on the character. I guess, well, there's a spotlight one. It was like a little bit like this line here. And I just kind of want to soften those just a touch.
Okay,
I think,
sure.
yeah. Inside of the mouth looks a lot better on the color. Let's see. This is also a dumb one, but something I've done in the past that makes monsters feel creepier or like make the tongue wet. Like let's grab the spec pass, or let's create a spec pass for the tongue and just like really make it like creepy, like a thing that you don't want touching you. Because like make it wet and with like a bump on it, or some sort of like something that, like, so that there's just like a big speck hit that rolls across with like small shapes in there. They could be like it could be like taste buds. It could just be like a bumpy, weird tongue. It's a giant monster. Who the hell knows what their tongue's going to look like? But just something on there to make it not great. Because his mouth is open for a long enough time that we really do kind of look in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does anybody else have anything?
Just claps here. I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
I find the rain a little distracting, like over the camera. Just maybe like I don't know. I think it's like, is it like camera going over a lens? Kind of like with the camera. Is that like the?
Okay, you can correct it, but like it feels is it a 2D effect in post?
Yeah, so I got the rain on cards,
Mm-hmm.
and then I matted out the animation, and then just applied it to the scene
Got it.
on through Nuke.
It looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, good. Jordan.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. Go ahead.
Okay. I guess my only thought was maybe make it more reflective. That would make it feel a little bit like it's really specking and reflecting the environment around it.
Mm-hmm. I was also noticing that there were some of these like horizontally moving ones. Is that because like it's windy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to make like different directions.
Yeah.
With the rain.
You know what, too? I wonder if, I'm not saying do this, but like there's a drop that comes down right over his face at the end, like right, like this one right here. That I wonder if we could move that one or eliminate
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Just so we can read the performance a little bit more. But overall, I think, yeah, I think this is going
Okay,
great.
cool.
See something. And again, super minor. Sorry, just because we've looked at it a bunch. Right up here, there's a little something that flicks on and off.
Okay, yeah, I can take that out.
Okay, cool. Great job, though,
Great,
man.
thank
This
you.
is really looking good.
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah. All right, Kevin. Let's take a look at this through. Still looking good outside. Running inside. This looks nice. Opens the door, slides across. Yeah, that looks a lot better.
Cool.
Yeah. Watch it one more time. So just so you guys know, we're just looking at this last shot here. Just good. I think maybe even just like at the end of the shot, I think you can even go like maybe a half stop brighter overall. Just a little, yeah, like a little bit. I don't even think I can change brightness on in Sync Sketch, but let me just do this real quick. Let's see if this works. Oh wait, I can do it this way. Wrong. Grab this. Open this in Photoshop real quick. I'm wondering if we can't just like a little bit brighter on her. Oh, that's too much.
Okay.
That might be a little too much, but just like a step up like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I think it looks good. Does anybody else have any thoughts on this? And the eye dings could probably go a little warmer, just to match.
You want them warmer? Okay,
yeah, just to match the light color a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go back in the animation. Anybody else have any thoughts on this? I think it looks good.
Yeah, I really like the brightness of the outside too.
Yeah.
The softness is really nice.
Yeah, the outside shots really do look great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Hopping into Mohammed's shot. So I'm so happy that you said that this was from the other, I shouldn't call them the other Academy of Art in San Francisco, because I've seen this animation a handful of times and I was like, where does this keep coming from? It's just like this crazy Volkswagen Beetle. So my first thought when I saw this, well, first off, this is a complex lighting scene, so good job on that. The first thought that I had was just like, I feel like we've hit, and we see this sometimes, like the edge of the world back there. And I also don't feel like there's a good sense of depth in this shot, in that I want to feel some more atmospheric fall off and atmospheric perspective going back there. Like, we talk about the black points a lot in this class, in this school, and like on these larger environment shots, how there should be darker black points in the foreground than there are in the background. So like, and I know that there's a haze from the headlights, but like there should be more darkness closer to us, and it kind of steps up as we go away. But additionally, and in these night scenes, we've got, you can also make it where there's like more light in the foreground too. So there's just like more street lights, and then you can pretend like that these buildings back here are closed for the evening or whatever. Maybe that's not a McDonald's that stays open late, and like you can make this darker, but like definitely plug this in with another building. But overall, if you are going to keep this as everything is on, there's a buildup of atmosphere and a buildup of like light contamination as you go back that will make the further background look different than the foreground. So I would check some reference on that. Also, this shot's always funny because there's like nobody driving the car. But I don't know. There's not really a thing you can do there. For me, I want to create some more value difference in the foreground too. Like I talked about the darker values. Also, there's about the design of the shot. I also think a darker street would be helpful. Let me go and do the trick again where I just open this in Photoshop again. Because I want to find a darker element compositionally to really help us ground this a little bit more. Like if we took this street, and again, super janky. And we kind of darken this down a little bit, I think the composition of the scene functions a little bit better, because that just feels a little more grounded. and kind of create some more dynamic range. Because like one of the things that I look at when I'm doing my own work is I just do this little trick, and there's different ways of viewing it in Nuke. You can just look at the luminance pass, but like this is a way of looking at luminosity, and you can see there's a lot of midtones and some highlights around these the high points, but there really is no darker values, and by putting this in, it kind of creates more range in those dark values as well. In terms of the headlights themselves, I think, and this is all style stuff, but like it feels a little fuzzy, in that they're just kind of going everywhere, and realistically headlights aim downward, because they're high beams that can look up, but generally they're like flat and down. So I would focus them a little bit more downward, and then have a little bit of this haze, but really just kind of keep those a little bit more localized, because like headlights wouldn't create this much haze kind of up around here. It would be a little more localized than that. It's kind of up and all over. And then lastly, I want to see a little bit more. I'm looking at the street lamps right now and their effect on the scene. So I like the reason why is, so the street lamps, I want to feel a little bit more of a pool of light from them in the different areas. I think that they work as a design element up top here, but I want to see them influenced down here with perhaps a little more darkness even in between them. Like allow it to go darker and allow them to create a little pools of light. And then what would happen too is this car, like you can see it in the reflections, right? You see, like watch the windshield as the lights go. What's that?
The white one, the white reflection.
Yeah, the of the street lights going past.
Yeah.
Because when you have a car moving, there's a couple ways to communicate the speed. Number one is, and you've got this, like the reflections going past.
Oh, I see.
The other one is having it go in and out of pockets of light and dark area.
Yeah.
So
okay.
you actually have the more difficult one, which is the reflections, and then now it's just about getting some light and dark values.
So sorry, because it's kind of my first time. So how can I make this kind of reflections? I have to add some more lights to the street, or?
So the reflections I think are good. It's more about the lighting being more dynamic on the car itself. And the way that I would do that is I would take the fill value that you have, or the skylight that you have, and bring that value down to create more dark areas in between, and then push push these a little brighter so that you can feel them lightening up the car as the car drives past. By the way, this is the first time I'm meeting you. It's very nice to meet you, Mohammed.
Yeah. Sorry, because I'm living in the San Francisco, so I didn't know about the time. Sorry if I have a late.
No, you're okay. And like I said,
nice to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm in New York. I should have said Eastern time. I always forget that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
no. And all of these are recorded, so if you miss them, we post them to our YouTube channel. I post the link in the channel as well.
Appreciate.
So if you don't feel if you're busy, or I know it's like 8:00 in the morning by you.
Yeah.
If it's just too early, that's totally fine too. You can hop in. Don't feel like you have to be here live. It's okay. Good deal.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. That being said, I like seeing faces on here. It's good. All right, cool.
Thank you.
All right, let's hop into some of these stills. So we will go through to Keven, K, Jordan. Okay. We'll go Rubi. You're here, so we'll start with you. Robot color looks great. Curtain color looks good. I think the character looks good. There are the only thing I'm being nitpicky. The only thing about her is I was just looking at this. On the front side of her face, there are some like green hues in her skin that I'm seeing today, and I don't know if they're new or if I just didn't see them, but I think I would just pull a little bit of the green out of her skin, and I think that's and just kind of create a little bit more of the magenta pinks in the front side of her. It's really minor. And then the other thing that I just noticed, again, super duper minor, is, this arm of the robot. There's like a perfect line down here, and it's probably with the way it's rotated around. If you could like smudge that a little bit, that would be great. Like in the texture map, just like find out where that hard line is. And that's bad design on our part. Sorry about that. But does anybody else have any thoughts on this? I think this looks really, I'm not going to say that because that is biasing.
I mean, I don't know what else you could do to it.
Yeah.
It looks good.
I agree. I think this looks really good, Dani. I think this looks really good, Ruby. Yeah. And I think, I kind of mentioned this because this is the second iteration at this one. And I think, and you said you wanted to do 3, right?
2.
2.
But I can do 3.
No. You can do as many as you want.
Do the very night. Yeah.
But I think it's good to go through a couple iterations because what we learned from this one, we can now apply to the first iteration that you had too. And I think it'll ultimately make it stronger.
Right.
Yeah. So
So
great.
for okay. So for the night one, I was actually thinking about that because we did the whole eye and like the right side and the girl's skin. Should I go back and do those same changes or?
So the eye, yes. If the shoulder thing is there, yes. Her skin, I think, was looking good in the other one given the lighting circumstances.
Okay.
I don't think we need to do that. I would say robot eye, robot shoulder, and then we'll take a look at it and see, and then we'll kind of compare them.
Okay.
Sound good?
All right. Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Is there anybody? Wait. Oh, Giuliani. Wait, Julia. Is it Julia? Sorry, I almost called you Julia.
Oh, hi. Yeah,
Hi.
I'm here.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's very nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you too. First time here.
Yeah, we've got a couple first. We've got Mohammed and Julia are here for the first time. Welcome, welcome. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
let's take a look what we got here. So we've got our bar scene, which is rendered really cleanly. That looks nice. We've got
thank
2
you.
references. This one and this one, Birds of Prey, I think this was from.
Yes, this is Birds of Prey. This is for the first challenge, the one where I had to find the reference and that put together all the 3 Ys of lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually separate, just the image.
Oh, got it.
And the other
Yes.
one, the Aubrey Plaza one, is for the render.
Yes. That's Aubrey Plaza. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that was her. All right. So for this one, I think this is a really great example of, it's a really surreal background, just like this like flat red color, but getting the rim on her hair really helps separate her really nicely. And also like the way that the lighting hits kind of all of these hands and kind of just picks up as many of the fingers as they can with this rim light really kind of helps sell this motion.
Yeah, I love that, yes.
So cool. And like this value on her face, because again, all that lighting behind her leads to the character being lit more by fill light. And just seeing that in here works out really well. But you can see that even in this space, there's a lot of variation in hue and color and value. And also, like, even though the key light is on the opposite side of her, like these diamonds and the jewelry on her neck are really popping out too, and really kind of shimmering as well. And then the last thing is just how all this red light like really bleeds in to the rest of the scene too. Like you can see it in the hair, on the hands, really cool stuff.
Yeah, I love that because it basically creates a circle around there. So you, even if it's an animated sequence and the hands go away, but you still focus only on her.
Yeah.
Even if they're all moving around.
Yeah.
Because of the rim light mainly and the necklace.
Yeah, totally. All right, cool. Let's hop into the other one now. So this is a really interesting shot. So it's not monochromatic, but it's close. It's like it's a hue with just like a couple of variations on it. Slightly more magenta, slightly more blue, in the two values that are coming in. So there's definitely a strength to the light coming in from the screen right side, and then the background kind of falls, doesn't quite get that, and that really helps to separate the foreground from the background because the background's now much more monochromatic. In this one, I think we can pull off a little bit of this brighter light in the background a little bit more, to really kind of get that to stand out. And you're also doing a good job here, and it's kind of similar to what I was talking about with Mohammed's, is the even in this shorter range, we've got the dark point here in her hair and in the foreground, like the shadow under her arm versus the shadow that's going on back here is much more lifted. I'm sorry, much darker in the foreground, much more lifted in the background. And it's like, it's really, really working well. But your concept of the style and the dynamics are working really good. Other than pulling that off of the background, I think we can adjust these lights to be more like this color.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that it's working really well. This one does have more like of a haze diffusion thing going on. We can take a look at that real quick. So like it would be a matter of my favorite trick, which is in Photoshop, is to not cancel it, duplicate the layer, you blur it up a little bit, then you can screen it back over top, or you add it back over the top of it, and then dial this in.
Oh.
And what this does is, I mean, this makes it a lot, in this particular case, it made it a lot brighter, but it kind of adds an overall softness. And actually, with the way that reference looks, it's even softer than it normally is. Why is that? It's really funny. There we go. It wasn't allowing me to select things. There we go. So we can even play that up a little bit more. So it's just like more of like a haziness over top of everything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think it's like, yeah, great job. It's very, very pretty.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go through, let me go ahead and shut these so I don't, make sure I don't miss anybody. Now I'll kind of go through, we'll do reverse alphabetical today. We'll start with Stephanie and work our way back. So this is the first pass of the environment lighting. We've got the reference image here. Really strong first pass. Like, this looks really, really, really cool. Stephanie did the same trick that I did, which was take the water out of the pool and make it abandoned so you don't have to deal with a water shader. Smart thinking. But but overall, I think it's working really well. A few things that I would like to see. One is there's a little bit more of just more saturation in the lights in general. If you look in the center part of the pool, like this part of the pool has more warmth to it. This part has more coolness. I think that we can work some of that, especially that warmer kind of yellowy color into the pool a little bit more. Also, the grime on the window really helps sell it a little bit too, and I think we can get some of that kind of built in, and just kind of like, you know, the way that these edges are kind of there's just more gunk built up around there. I think we can work that in. The way that the specularity is broken up on the tile, because there's like pools of dirt and dust that kind of just break all that up. I think we can work that in as well. So I think it would be a matter of even just adding a noise procedure onto the spec map, or the specular weight, or depending on what shader you're using, to create kind of like, you kind of have him here, but it looks like the specularity is consistent. Maybe even just taking those shapes that you've darkened the diffuse color and pulling off the specularity as well. Yeah. One of the other things I really like about this shot too, and you can, is I really like the vertical lines on the ceiling, like all just kind of going in one direction, and we have a similar element here with the banners and stuff. So I'm wondering if, and the one of the reasons why it works really nicely is it's got like a little highlight, like a little rim just on the bottom that creates like, it just looks like laser beam lines. And I wonder if, it depends on what material this is, if we're going to make it more translucent or not, but I think there's a way of creating that similar leading line kind of shooting off into the background thing that I think could work. Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one? But yeah, like this, the way that these specular highlights here are kind of perfect and clean and bright, I think we need to kind of grunge those up a little bit too. But like I said, really, really strong first run at this. All right, Dani, a couple iterations here. I think the height of the bullet glow looks a little better. I think we can make this a little brighter. I think we can really influence it up on the character a little more. The eyes are, they're bigger and they're more human-like, but they feel very flat, in that the whites feel just kind of like consistent in value. Excuse me, I just hiccuped. I do think that the eyes could probably get a little more influence from the blue light as well. I think that the red of the character could probably come up a little bit. And then in terms of the girl's lighting, this light on her leg feels a little bit ambient to me. Again, light coming in here. So her structure of her lighting is really going to be like, it's going to be pretty dark in here, I'm realizing, because it's just going to be like a little bit of the blue light coming in from the outside, kind of hitting the edge of her, almost as like a kick, like a soft kick light. And then, yeah, we're just going to have to be a little bit of a soft, and it'll be a little bit warmer than this. Like, ugh, how are we going to light her? Because I want it to read as a human with skin that's warm, but she's surrounded by nothing but cool light. You know what? I think we can, read it as a neutral light in here that just picks up a little bit of her skin tone. I think we can go darker back in here. It's just like in this region here, just like a little bit of that fill value like we're seeing with a neutral kind of white, a bluish white light that's more of the rim. And watch out for that hard shadow on her finger and kind of coming down her leg. So, yeah, so she's basically going to be hit with two main lights. Almost like a spotlight that's going to represent the sky moonlight that's hitting her edge, and then like a soft fill light that's not warm but also not cool, that kind of bounces some light in here. But like this area should probably go a little bit darker. We'll give that a go and see where we land. For this shot, shadow looks better. This coming in looks good. I want to see more range of I want to see it a little bit overall, like a little bit more brightness up here, a little bit less down here. Just to feel like I guess, down here it feels pretty good, because I actually think that this spot on the ground might be able to go a little bit brighter. But I want to feel like there's like the light's coming in up here, so it might just be some volumetric light or haze or something coming in up there. But I want to feel a difference between what's happening at the top and what's happening at the bottom. Although I think adding a little bit of haze up in here. And then the other thing too, you could try, and I like doing this sometimes, is because now you have a spotlight in here that's like this. And one of the things that happens is this light kind of becomes consistent in that it's like kind of a similar, because it's just one spotlight. You can also break that spotlight into two spotlights and have this one the way it is, and then like a smaller one inside of it that has like a really soft edge, so you don't perceive that there's two, just so you can get like a tighter, brighter area in the middle, and it dissipates out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So there's like a tighter one and then a looser one, and just kind of creates more of a value shift in the light that's actually hitting the ground. So it's not just like consistent value and then fall off. So it's like brighter to softer to fall off. You can give that a try too. All right. Now we will look at Ayako's. Ooh. Sorry, I just want to pull this back just to look at the kind of thumbnail size. So we kind of look at composition. Cool. Yeah, cool. So one of the big things about this reference is you can feel like a lot of there's a lot of bounce light, and there's a lot of like not moisture in the air, but there's a lot of like it feels like there's a lot of dynamic energy in the fill areas, right? There's like a lot of variation here. There's just like a lot of bounce going around. In here, it feels a little bit less of that. So I think what we need to do in yours, and this might be a comp thing, but again, same trick as we did before, just to visualize it. But we need more of this secondary light kind of rattling around in here. And like this is a little bit much, but like you would break this up. You would want to break this up a little bit because this is just kind of slapped on uniformly. The way that this one has like, you know, wherever like it really is isolated to like these brighter pockets, and then like this area can go out, like this area can still get a little bit darker. I would do something similar here where, you know, you can do something like this. You can pull it off of these darker values in here, and just allow it to kind of really kind of hit up in the brighter, glowier areas. The other thing that's nice, although you've kind of got it too. This is interesting. So compositionally, we're seeing like this dark window and this interior light. And that's kind of working the same. Sorry, I'm looking at the colors. So we've got the warm light kind of coming from the inside, and outside, this window almost feels more green, kind of bluish green in this reference, and I think we can kind of match that color a little bit. So a little bit lifted in the value, get a little bit more of that green color in there. And I'm also, the way that the window is reflecting, it doesn't quite feel like a window. It feels a little bit too soft on the reflections. I think you can crisp that up a little bit, and I don't think it'll be too distracting because we don't really have much outside the window. That I think that those reflections can get a little bit more crisp. And the other thing about this reference too is that the ground is darker. And so I'm wondering if we couldn't make the ground in yours a little bit darker to kind of play up the, from a composition standpoint, just kind of play up like more about it being about the center of the frame. Right. To kind of go somewhere like that. But yeah, this is good stuff. I love this reference. Really, really beautiful. I don't know if it's Pinocchio. I don't know if it's like some Pinocchio reference or not. It feels Pinocchio-y to me. I don't know why. Anyway, I see this is glowing. Let's see if there's any other last... oh, still shot update. Yeah, that works, Kevin. I love the live updates are good. All right, cool. Any other questions or anything before we break for the day?
Yeah, quick question. So I'm struggling. I'm trying to learn Nuke. Again, for like the third time because I keep getting overwhelmed and stopping. So I'm trying to really dive in and just do one thing at a time so I don't overwhelm myself. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to figure out how to like do the render layers, like shuffling out the AOVs. So I did my Arnold light groups. Mm-hmm. You know, like all my key rim, all that stuff. And I'm trying to figure out like my issue is I'm trying to shuffle it out and then add it back together and then grade each one so I can play around with it. But when I try to do that, like I have all my shuffle nodes, and then when I try to plus them all back in, it pluses back in the original image too, for some reason. I'm
Oh.
not sure why that's happening.
It shouldn't be doing that. It should be like, yeah. So, if you want, email me over the file, and I could add it to tomorrow's critique, and we can take a look at it.
Okay.
But basically, yeah. I mean, structurally, you're doing the right thing. Where you would render it out as like one file that has these AOVs that are in the channels that you break out individually, and then you do add those back together. It should not be reading in the original though, if you know what I mean, like because it should just be reading the channel that you have. Send it over. Is it okay if we take a look tomorrow?
Yeah, that works.
Great. Yeah. Email over or message it or get it to me somehow, and we'll take a look.
All right, I'll get that sent over.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys so much. Again, welcome, Mohammed and Julia. It's great to have you guys. Hopefully we see you on here more often.
Thank you.
And we'll do a lot more clapping when things get approved. All right. We'll talk to you all soon. All right. Be good.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.